Welcome back to Our Corner on the Internet. Okay, so tonight we're at this vid and it's called Lord 20, How the Weeknd Finessed Drake. Oh yeah, because under Drake first and then... I'm probably getting it wrong, but either way, I'm intrigued. Let's see how the Weeknd did finesse Drake, if you even want to call it that. I wouldn't really call it that, but yeah, let's dive right in. So without further ado, let's get into this reaction. I've got that song Crew Love stuck in my head now. But yeah.
The Weeknd and Drake have a very complicated relationship, but it all started from when The Weeknd was just a fresh, faceless, but talented artist, and also a dash of cleverness. Welcome to episode 20 of our series comparing a story from the book 48 Laws of Power to a story in music. Law 20 reads, "It is the fool who always rushes to take sides. Do not commit to any side or cause but yourself. By maintaining your independence, you become the master of others, playing people against one another, making them pursue you. In particular, regarding The Weeknd, if you allow people to feel they possess you to any degree, you lose all power over them. By not committing your affections, they'll only try harder to win you over. Stay aloof and you gain the power that comes from their attention and frustrated desire. Play the virgin queen, give them hope, but never satisfaction." A historical example of the Virgin Queen relates to their history perfectly. It's 1558 in England, and Queen Elizabeth I is missing one important piece of the puzzle: a husband. They wanted her married as soon as possible, but there was plenty of debate regarding who she should marry, and as soon as possible would slowly turn into years. This wasn't for a lack of options. Clearly, the highest of nobility were courting her hand in marriage, and while she didn't outright reject them, she was nonchalant and gave off the vibe that she was in no rush. Even rulers of other countries throughout Europe were interested in marrying her: the King of Spain, the Prince of Sweden, and the Archduke of Austria, because they knew this would guarantee their country a strong alliance with England. If you mapped out what she said she was looking for in a husband over a period of time, you would realize that she was constantly contradicting herself. And this was intentional. She never argued and said she didn't want to get married, but she was playing a game. And the Virgin Queen would become almost a mythical figure for all the men that wanted their chance with her. There was a small diplomatic issue, though, which was the revolt of the Flemish and Dutch lowlands, which were in possession of Spain, with which England had an alliance, so it was either choose France or Spain. By 1570, France seemed to be the best course of action, and she would allow herself to be courted by two brothers of the French king, Duke Anjou and Alençon. She strung both of them along. Anjou was closer, though. He would kiss Elizabeth in public, refer to her by pet names, and she seemingly responded well. But while this was all going on, she signed a treaty of peace between France and England. By 1582, she would break off the courtship, and gladly so, because she found him repulsive on every measure. But for her country, she allowed him to pursue. At this point, she was too old to have children, so she was able to live the rest of her life as she pleased. Elizabeth learned that she had to play the field from her cousin, Mary, Queen of Scots. The people wanted Mary to marry someone, but it was impossible to please the people. If she married a foreigner, it wouldn't make them happy. Marrying a particular noble house would create rivalries. So what did she end up doing? She married Lord Darnley, a Catholic, which opened her up to turmoil with Scotland's Protestants. Elizabeth knew that marrying meant commitment to a party or nation that would pull her and her country into conflicts, and potentially wars that she did not want any involvement in. And with the husband becoming the actual ruler, they would usually try to get rid of the queen in the same fashion that happened to Mary. Elizabeth's main goals were avoid getting married and avoid war, which she did. Not by telling people she didn't want to get married, that would be ridiculous, but by using the potential of marriage to create strong alliances for her nation. The Weeknd would employ the same tactics as Queen
It's like dangling a carrot in front of people, isn't it?
Different manner and time. Drake and The Weeknd are both from Toronto, and while Drake wasn't directly the first person to show him love, it was Drake's brand, October's very own, and Drake's manager and right-hand man, Oliver El-Khatib, who would post 2 Weeknd songs in December of 2010 on their blog titled Introducing The Weeknd. Drake would then officially co-sign him on Twitter on March 6, 2011, with a tweet quoting, "Bring your love, baby, I could bring my shame," with a link that would bring you to another blog post that had a photo of The Weeknd with a link to download the song Wicked Game, and it read, "OVOXO gang, faded too long, theweeknd.com." Keep in mind, All of this is before The Weeknd's first mixtape, House of Balloons. They may have already been working together at this point because fans in the comments were excited for the up-and-coming release of Take Care, an album that was largely a collaboration between Drake and The Weeknd. Drake would appear as a feature on The Weeknd's second mixtape, Thursday, on the song The Zone. Drake would also have The Weeknd perform at OVO Fest that July. These were already 4 big looks that Drake was giving The Weeknd. At this point, every record label was reaching out to The Weeknd. But instead of signing a record deal, he remained with Drake, playing the field. A record deal isn't far from a marriage, business-wise. He would be married to that company or record label. And if it was Drake's OVO label, other label offers would cease to exist. And if he decided to marry and sign to another record label during this time, Drake would pull back his support. Leading up to the release of Take Care, Drake would tweet out OVO XO, Take Care, Echoes of Silence on October 22nd, 2011. OVO XO would become a recurring theme. Echoes of Silence was the highly anticipated third project by The Weeknd that would release in December, and Take Care would release in November. But, leading up to it, Drake would be interviewed and say the following about The Weeknd's involvement in Take Care. He's like a writer, collaborator on 4 songs on my album, which I'm very proud of, Drizzy told MTV News. I usually like to write all my own stuff, but we get it. We try to tap into the same emotions because we're from the same city. When asked about their business relationship, not much was offered up. He's not signed right now. He's still in the city. He hasn't left. He's never been on a plane before. I don't think he's ever left the city. He's a real Toronto kid that's just one of the most talented people I've ever come across. After being pushed a bit more on if there are any benefits, Drake replied, "It's really nothing more than I support him. Oliver, who's my manager, also along with Cortez and G, brought him to me and we're just involved in his career, man." Take Care would release on November 15, 2011, with The Weeknd featured on the song Crew Love. This album eventually becoming a classic album and winning a Grammy for Best Rap Album. The Weeknd's stock is sky high.
Of course, that album was good, but I like Thank Me Later better.
6 months later, he still isn't signed to anyone. As far as on paper, it's all being worked out, but that's not really what counts anyway.
When travelling abroad, restaurants with English menus...
He really was playing the field, and I don't blame him. The Weeknd knows what he was doing.
What counts to me is the fact that the affiliation is known, and that's all I really care about. Drake would say in an interview with Sway during a tour stop in Houston on his Club Paradise tour, much like Queen Elizabeth's virginity would become a mystery that would only grow her popularity, so too did the mystery of where The Weeknd's allegiance lied. I want to continue being involved in his career and vice versa, and keep making music together, because you take songs like Crew Love and The Zone. That's what people wait all night to hear. But that wasn't on The Weeknd's mind because on September 11th, 2012, it was announced that The Weeknd signed a partnership with one of the biggest record labels, Republic Records, with his own imprint, XO, and was set to release his project Trilogy, which was a compilation of House of Balloons, Thursday, and Echoes of Silence that November. Drake didn't take too kindly to that, tweeting out, "You won't get away with just a thank you. You owe me a favor." The Weeknd had played the field and got the best deal possible.
Exactly. See what I said? He played the field and then jumped on the opportunity that benefited him the most. The guy ain't stupid. That's pretty smart. I'm not gonna lie. Even people get mad about that, get mad about that. End of the day, business is business.
He would own his masters, got co-signed and pushed by one of the biggest rappers in the game at that point, and built up his own massive fan base in the process. All by not committing to anyone but himself, XO. When asked about it in a 2013 Complex cover story in the lead-up to the album release for Kissland, The Weeknd said, "The thing about Drake is, I told him what my decisions were going to be, and he was down with it from the beginning. I told him from day one what my decision was going to be," he continued. "I wasn't going that route. I was going to go my own route, and he supported me, which may make sense because it was OVO XO. It was never just OVO, but perhaps Drake thought that they were going to have a deal." He would also say, "I was hungry. I was like, dude, take anything. I gave up almost half of my album. It's hard. I'll always be thankful. If it wasn't for the light he shined on me, who knows where I'd be. And everything happens for a reason. That said, you never know what I would say if this success wasn't in front of me now." The Weeknd didn't make the mistake of signing to Drake. Perhaps he saw the experience of what it was like giving away half of his own album to feed someone else's career, and recognized the conflict that would arise from that in the future. After all, another incredibly talented example we can look at is Party Next Door, who has on multiple occasions voiced his own frustration with lack of commercial success, attributing it to his label situation, despite having written one of the biggest hits of the past decade, one of them being Rihanna's work. However, following this too closely can have its drawbacks, and the reversal reads, if you keep your growing number of suitors waiting too long, you'll inspire, not desire, but distrust. People will start to lose interest. Eventually, you may find it worthwhile to commit to one side, if only for appearance's sake, to prove you're capable of attachment. Queen Elizabeth made it seem like there was a winner of the race at one point, albeit not marrying him. If she had not done that, people would have eventually recognized that she had no intention of ever getting married. The Weeknd signed with Republic after getting an incredible deal. Had he kept pushing things longer, more months, or even
They would have been like,
year,
what the fuck you doing?
Drake and others would likely recognize that he was just playing around and wasn't interested in closing a deal with any of them, leading to Drake pulling back his support. It's a delicate balance.
Voxy, get on a limited social.
And what the Weeknd did was clever. Drake can get mad about that, but yeah, I've got to admit, that shit was clever. Like, he weren't stupid. Like, bruh, like, seriously, you got a co-sign from Drake. You had all this push, all these shout-outs and all that. And then you signed with Republic. I'm dead. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty smart. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, man. The things people do because what they think could potentially be on the cards. It's mad. You know, they say the less you give them all they want. Yeah, but exactly. That's why you should not take sides. If you're like, oh, should I go to this side? Should I go that side? No. Stay in your own lane. Don't pick a side. But play the field and then see which side is more beneficial. Weigh out the pros and cons and then pick a side. Damn. I wouldn't call it finessing though. Anyway, let's have a rant and see what other people are saying right now. Someone said it wasn't a finesse. He wanted to be a main character, not work for the OVO sweatshop. Someone said to have got off so incredibly lucky and strategically is a move that is very rare. Yeah, exactly. It's very rare. So hats off to the Weeknd for this one, especially in the music industry where artists get chained down and cheated from predators like Diddy. Nice work, Abel. Yeah, he put a very smart move here. Abel knew what he wanted from the very beginning and stuck with it. Props to him. But yeah, the guy gave history lesson real quick. But yeah, also didn't know a lot about this. But yeah, fair play, mate, fair play. But that's just me though. Someone said it's not called finessed when the Weeknd tell from the beginning. Yeah, I will work on my own story. If Drake thought he can play the same game he and his team did with Party Next Door and all other artists who signed and never blew up, he was wrong. The Weeknd's best decision ever, and with someone in Cash's great manager close to Abel since day one, the rest is history. Yeah, it's not called finessing though. He told you from the jump. He's doing his own thing. He did his own thing. He played the field and got a better deal. So yeah, but yeah, interesting vid. I'ma head out. Damn, this shit's mad. Anyways, that's it for this video. Like, subscribe if you want. I post if I feel like it, and I'll see you next one. Bye.